Okay, this is Dealer Synergy, and we're training on how to use the AVV web control tool for our Dealer Synergy clients. Okay, well, first of all, AVV has two different setups. They have either the Internet Lead Management tool or CRM as it relates to our clients. There's other resources within AVV like inventory and there's integration with DMS, etc. But for this quick conversation, we're going to focus on how to properly use the AVV web control system with the Dealer Synergy philosophy and protocol. Now you got to understand, with any internet lead management tool or CRM for that matter, it's a customization. It's how you set it up. If you turn around and hire an architect to build a multi-million-dollar house, and write the blueprints, you can't always expect the architect to have great taste and be the best interior decor or interior designer, etc. So what we want to focus on is how do we customize the AVV web control tool. One of the reasons why I love AVV so much is they have this left-hand navigation right here. The left-hand navigation allows us to create subfolders. Now, before I go into this, I want to just mention one other thing about AVV. AVV is an amazing resource. It's like having a super duper file cabinet. You could have a file cabinet with one drawer with no dividers, no folders, or you could have a amazing file cabinet with multiple drawers, multiple folders, and subfolders. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, good. So now, if you look over here, in active, what I just did is I just clicked the active button. Well, before I do that, you have active, you got long-term, you got sold, you got all lost, you got not applicable, trash, prospect type, source. Okay, with active, right here, first thing you want to make sure is done is you want to make sure that you create specific statuses under active. Now, what I would say is this, is there's multiple statuses that could be active. That means anything that's still a live opportunity. So let's say, for example, set an appointment. That's obviously here. Responded to voicemail message, left voicemail message. Recontact time, recontact date, appointment set. They showed up to the dealership, they still need follow-up. No phone number, email only. Again, we could talk about this one in a little bit. And then you have the specific ISMs. They have a power store, bad email, phone only. Now, let's just say, for example, somebody went on vacation. It's happened to me numerous times. I'm sure if you're watching this video, you're an internet coordinator, internet sales manager. There's times when you talk to somebody and they say, oh, I'm going away on vacation. I'll be gone for 3 days. I'll be gone for 4 days. So you might want to have something here that's just a category that somebody's on vacation. If you don't have that, you could use a recontact time, recontact date, but it doesn't tell you why. What I would use recontact time and recontact date, what I would use those for is if I call somebody like, oh, I got to go, call me at 3:15. So I'm going to set a specific recontact time or recontact date. Does that make sense, everybody?
Yes.
Okay, however, if somebody says, I'm sick, I don't feel well, call me back. I might even put a specific category for that. Does that make sense?
Yes.
The reason why I like to do this is that AVV has a unique feature, which is subfolders. Now watch. Let's say I come in. Let's put this back up there. If I want to come in and I'm a coordinator and I click first, I click my active, and now if I want to go and find out how many people, I set appointments with, I just click that button right there, appointment set, and I know that there's 12 people that I set appointments to. Isn't that more convenient, than having to search through prospect? I could just click through one. Now, if I want to say how many people, have, let's go over here, that have bad email that I could only phone call. I go over there by clicking that button. Now, I don't think I have any. There's nobody right here, but at least I have that category. Let's say that, somebody showed up, but they still need follow-up. I could click this button right there, and it'll tell me how many people showed up and still need follow-up. If I turn and click in first responses, that just means they just have a first response. Wow, this is all active for the entire store. They've got 386 people that are in the first response category. Now, what we are able to do with AVV Web Control is something really unique. The way that this dealership is set up is that they have several internet coordinators. I believe they have about 6 internet coordinators. Now that means they're appointment setters that take it from inception of the internet lead all the way up to the appointment status, and they turn it over to either dedicated internet sales consultants or sales consultants on the floor. Now, what we can do is this. If you take a look over here, they've got ISM, which stands for Internet Sales Manager. They've got ISM and ISM. What we can do is by creating a source here for the particular Internet Sales Manager, in this case it was Brent. What that means is, let's say an Internet Coordinator, let's say Sean Bradley is an Internet Coordinator. I take an incoming Internet lead. I work the lead, and when I get the guy on the phone, it turns out that, you know, I can't handle it, so I got a TO. So what I'm able to do without changing custody or ownership of the lead, I've created a source. I created this source with the ISM's name. Internet's name is Brent. So if I click there, guess what? I could see how many TOs I've sent to Brent. So let me digress so you can let this sink in. Let's say I come in the middle, you know, in the morning. I sit down at my desk and I got AVV up here. I click active, for example. I'm able to go into my active tool and I'm able to see all subfolders. Basically, this is just an organization way or organized way that allows me to keep everything nice and neat in categories. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay, now, again, there's different categories. Why do we want to know? Because people are at different stages in the follow-up cycle. Now, let's say specifically I want to know without digging through 400. If you take a look here, there's 444 active leads. Okay, do I want to sift through 444 active leads to see how many TOs that Travis has? No, I would love to go to one button right here, Travis's name, and boom, I click there and I can see how many TOs Travis has. Does that make sense? Yes. Okay, so this is the active category. So now, right now, this is part of the training on this video. I'm just going through the different categories. Long term. When you click long term, it says 30-day, 60-day, 90-day prospect. This is self-explanatory. These are people that are not, you know, ready to buy today. You could put them in future categories. Another way that we used to do this is by creating additional statuses for months. They're called tickler files. When I used to sell cars like 12 years ago, we used to do tickler cards. We used to have an index box with index cards, and they were categorized by months. And what we would do is somebody wasn't ready for a follow-up. If, let's say it's May, they weren't ready for June, we would put them in the June category. Does that make sense? Yeah. So now every month, if I get through my active leads, I could go to my future leads. Right now, do I know what 30, 60, or 90 days? No, but if I put month January, February, March, April, May, June, July, and so on and so forth, I'm able to go. If it's that month, now I've got leads that are ready to be touched in that month. It's called a tickler, a digital tickler file. Now we could do that at this store. We could add each month's name here as far as setup goes. Now, solds. What are the categories? Sold delivers. When I used to be a manager, I would have a couple different categories because there's more than just sold delivered, just so we're on the same page. You could have sold where you just take a deposit. It's not delivered, and everybody knows it doesn't really count until it's burning gas, until it's got until it's got the tags and registration and it's burning gas. So if you want to create another subfolder under sold, you might want to have sold order, because that might be a sold. Think about it. If somebody comes in and they ordered the car, but they didn't take delivery of it, it's sold order, or you could just take order. You could say sold pending, which is just a deposit. That happens all the time in a dealership, that it's sold, but it's not delivered. And then you have sold delivered. That means a completely sold delivered unit. Does that make sense? Yes. Okay. You might want to even put in here, you have, another category might be thank you. You might know that once you turn around and something's sold, if you want to set a quick reminder to thank them from the Internet Coordinator to Internet Sales Manager, you might have a status for thank you. Now, all lost. This is very important. This is like your dead leads. Over here, we've got a whole bunch of categories. Most people that have AVV or other ILMs don't take time to set up these special user-defined sections. You want to know why it's dead. A lot of times, dealerships don't have categories. It's just dead or bad or lost or something like that. Remember, we never want to delete a lead. We want to categorize it the right way. If it's dead, why is it dead? Let's look at the categories here. We've got no agreement reached. We've got bad credit, did not respond, no or bad phone number, no longer in the market. They show but did not like vehicle. It's a bad email. Dead deal, bad experience. Dead deal distance, dead deal trade, dead deal unrealistic. Bought elsewhere from a Honda customer, because this is a Honda example. So what about bought elsewhere non-Honda? Bought elsewhere because it wasn't in stock. Okay, archive, bought elsewhere, archive lost. So do you see you have a bunch of subcategories? Now, if you're an internet sales manager or you're a consultant or trainer, and your client or your manager owner wants to know why is it dead, that's important because, I want to know dead deal bought elsewhere. That's a powerful statement. If I click here, dead deal bought elsewhere, wow. There's one that's in here, dead deal, and they bought at another Honda store, wow. I mean, again, now I need to sharpen up my game because these people bought somewhere else, not from us. So you got to remember to subcategorize. So you've got active, future, or dead. And remember, make sure you subcategorize. It's very important.